Hello, in this particular session, let us discuss the characteristics of DC shunt motor. So, if you observe the term characteristics, it indicates how does the DC shunt motor performs, or in the other way, the characteristics is nothing but the behavior, how the DC shunt motor behaves, how it operates, or the nature of DC shunt motor can be studied by observing the characteristics. That means how the DC shunt motor operates at different loading conditions, how it operates when the load is applied, when the load is removed, when sudden application of load takes place. That means under load conditions, overload conditions, normal load conditions. Like this, we can study the behavior of the DC shunt motor at different loading conditions. And by observing or by studying the characteristics, we can able to find out the applications of DC shunt motors, where it can be used, for what type of applications the DC shunt motor is suitable. So like this, we can find out for what applications these type of motors is best suited. So basically, the characteristics, we will come across three types of characteristics. The first one is torque armature current characteristics, which is also called as torque load characteristics or electrical characteristics. This is the first type of characteristics. The second one, the speed current characteristics, also called as speed load characteristics, or also called as electrical characteristics. The third one is speed torque characteristics or mechanical characteristics. So like this, we are having three different types of characteristics. Let us discuss these characteristics one by one. So the first one is the torque current characteristics, as already I have told, which is also called as torque load or electrical characteristics. So here if you observe, this is the DC shunt motor diagram what we have shown. So here if you observe, from the construction diagram, if you recall the construction diagram of DC machine, which has got two parts, one is a stationary part, another one is a rotating part. So here you can observe a stationary part is nothing but the poles. Over the poles the coils are placed and the supply was given, right? Therefore here you can consider this part ZZ what we have shown, which is a stationary part, which is a pole part, which is called as field coils. You can observe this. The other one is a rotating part. The rotating part is nothing but an armature part. This portion represents the rotating part of a DC machine. Here it is a DC motor, what we can call. So which is represented by M. So this is the rotating part which is represented. This is the stationary part. So overall a supply is given. So this is a circuit representation of a DC motor what you can observe. So here if you observe the different parameters of the circuit diagram, so here you will come across the armature part, the brushes you can observe which is placed. You can observe these two are the brushes, the motor, armature, and here you can observe A and A are the armature terminals. A and AA represents the armature terminals. RA represents the armature resistance. The armature windings are placed in the armature slots. So there the winding has got some value of resistance. So that resistance actually it is represented by RA. Whatever the current which is drawn from the supply to the armature, it is IA. Okay, this represents the armature part, and where AB is the EMF which is induced in the armature, which is called as back EMF in case of motor. Okay, this back EMF is the EMF which is induced in the armature. The direction is nothing but opposite to the applied voltage. You can observe this is the supply voltage. The direction, if you observe the opposite direction, it opposes the applied voltage, so it is called as back EMF. So here IL represents the line current or supply current, the line current which is drawn from the DC supply, the main current what you can call, and some amount of current actually it is flowing through the field coils. Here you can observe parallel. ISH represents the shunt field winding, and ZZ represents the terminals of the field coils. The terminals of the field coils. RSH is the shunt field resistance. That means the winding resistance, the winding which is placed on the poles. That is a stationary poles which has got some value of resistance which is represented by RSH. So here this field winding is connected across parallel to the armature, so it is called as shunt motor, as we all know. Why it is called as DC shunt motor? The field winding, that is ZZZ, represented by ZZZ, the field winding is connected parallel to the armature, is shunted across the armature, so it is called as DC shunt motor. So here whatever the, in case of DC shunt motor, whatever the current which is flowing through the field winding, it is constant. The supply voltage comes in parallel to the shunt field winding, therefore ISH is constant. Whatever the flux which is produced by the field winding also we can consider as constant. Okay, so let us come to the discussion later. This is a circuit representation of DC shunt motor. So now for this type of motor, DC shunt motor, we have to discuss the torque current characteristics. So what is torque? If you observe the definition, the torque is nothing but the turning or twisting force about an axis. The torque is nothing but the turning force or the twisting force about an axis. Force, we know that any force is nothing but a linearly, what we apply will call as force, a linear motion. If you push something, if you apply some force, there will be a moment, it is called as linear force. But here torque is nothing but the axial force. There will be a turning force, there is a rotating force, so it is called as torque. The torque is nothing but a turning or twisting force about an axis, you can consider. That means there will be a rotation about an axis, there will be a twist about an axis, twisting force or rotation force about an axis. There will be a force acting axially, not linearly. Not linearly. So here how torque is developed, as we know that from the working principle of motors, the torque is developed at the armature, that is the mechanical force. As the definition of DC motor, the input is electrical energy, the output is mechanical force or mechanical energy. How the mechanical energy is produced, how the mechanical force is produced, that is nothing but the torque. So if you observe the circuit diagram of DC motor, a DC voltage is applied to the parallelly in parallel to the field coils, the armature conductors, what we can call. So here these field poles or the field coils produces the flux phi, which is distributed uniformly in the air gap. The air gap between the stationary part and rotating part, right? So whenever a voltage is applied, a DC voltage is applied to the field coils, it produces a flux phi in the air gap. So here the same voltage is also applied to the armature conductors. The armature conductors is placed in the armature slots, which is connected by lap or wave winding, which is connected in the form of lap or wave winding. Okay, whenever a supply is given to those armature conductors, again it produces flux. Right. So here, according to the working principle of DC motor, whenever a current carrying conductor is placed in a magnetic field, it experiences a force. Yes or no? Therefore, already a magnetic field has been created with the help of field poles or field magnets. Already a magnetic field is created. So now in the magnetic field, there is a flow of current, there is a flow of armature current. You can observe the current is flowing through the armature conductors. The armature is a rotating part, which is a center part of the machine. So whenever current flows through the armature conductors, each and every conductor experiences a force. All the forces collectively produces a torque. So how torque is produced? Whenever a current carrying conductor is placed in a magnetic field, we know that it experiences a force. Therefore, all these conductors which is placed in the armature slots experiences a force. These forces collectively called as torque. That means there will be a movement in the armature takes place axially. Therefore, like this, the torque is produced. So here we are talking about the torque. The torque which is produced at the armature, TA. And current is nothing but the armature current, IA. The current which is drawn from the supply to the armature conductors. The current drawn by the armature conductors. So we have to discuss the torque armature current characteristics. So if you observe, if you plot a graph of torque, torque is nothing but TA. Generally we have taken torque, armature current, that is IA. T versus IA represents the torque current characteristics. Let us observe the parameters of the graph. If you observe, TA represents the torque which is developed at the armature. TSH represents the torque which is developed at the shaft. Whatever the torque which rotates the armature, whatever the force which rotates the armature, it is called as armature torque. But after that, some amount of torque actually it is lost due to the losses. That is called as lost torque or TL or TF. Anyway, we can represent here, they have represented TF. TL also you can represent. So some amount of torque actually it is lost due to the stray losses. That is the friction and windage losses or iron losses and iron losses. Okay, some amount of torque actually it is lost. All the torque whatever it is developed at the armature is not available at the shaft. Some amount of torque is lost. The remaining part, whatever the torque, it is called as gross torque developed at the armature. Whatever the torque which is developed at the armature is called as gross torque or armature torque. Some amount of torque actually it is lost due to the losses. The losses is nothing but stray losses, friction, windage, iron losses. If you remove that from the gross torque, then whatever the torque we will get, that is called as shaft torque, TSH. That is the torque which is available at the load to do the useful work. Okay, so we have come to know the TA, what is TA, what is TSH, what is TF or TL. Okay, the other one is IA naught. What is IA naught? It is the no load armature current, not represent at no load. At no load, when the load is not applied, what is the amount of current is drawn from the supply by the armature? That is Ia naught. What is TA naught? TA naught is at no load. What is the torque at the armature? So let us discuss this. Let us discuss this. Okay. So here, so let us observe the equation 1. The torque which is developed at the armature, we know that how the torque is developed, how the armature is rotated, how the mechanical energy is produced. The gross torque at the armature torque, which is given by 0.1595Z Ia into P by A. If you observe what is this phi, it is nothing but the flux which is produced by the field poles. This is this part. Whatever the flux which is produced by the field magnets or the poles, it is called as phi. Z is the number of armature conductors which is placed in the armature slots. This is the armature part. In the outer periphery of the armature, slots are made and the conductors are placed in the armature slots. So the total number of conductors, it is represented by Z. And Ia is the current drawn by the armature conductors. P is number of poles which is placed, and A is the number of parallel paths which is related to the type of winding the armature is connected. Armature conductors are connected. One is lap winding and another one is wave winding. Okay, so A represents the number of parallel paths related to type of armature winding. The value depends on the type of armature winding. Okay, so here the armature torque, it depends on these parameters. Generally, if you apply this for this DC shunt motor, if you apply this for DC shunt motor, then I can consider TA directly proportional to Ia. The equation 3 you can consider, because for DC shunt motor, the flux which is produced by the shunt field winding, we can be considered as constant, because the applied voltage across this winding is constant. Therefore the current ISH remains constant. Anyway, the RSH is constant. Therefore whatever the flux which is produced by the poles, that one we can consider for the DC shunt motor constant. You can consider constant. Z, the conductors, you can consider constant. And P by A, that is the number of poles, 2, 4, 6, like that it will go. It is constant. Number of parallel paths also constant. If you remove all those things constants, it will get a directly proportionality sign mathematically. Therefore whatever the torque which is developed at the armature is directly proportional to Ia. That means we have to concentrate on two parameters, that is the torque and armature current. We have to concentrate on these two parameters. If you observe the other parameters of the equation, it remains constant. It remains constant. 0.1595 Z P by A. It remains constant. Okay. So here, if you observe the equation 3, we will get a straight line. You can observe. We will get a straight line. This graph we will get. Because as the load on the motor is varied, the current which is drawn IL will vary, the current which is drawn from the supply will vary, but the ISH is constant. If you observe, it remains constant. The ISH is constant, therefore only Ia will vary. As the load on the motor is varied, the current drawn by the armature varies. As this Ia vary, this ISH is constant, the supply current will vary, the IL will vary. So here if you observe the equation, as load varies, Ia varies. As Ia varies, the torque which is directly proportional to the armature current will vary linearly. Okay, therefore by the equation 3, what we can get, as load increases, Ia increases, as Ia increases, TA increases. Therefore we will get a straight line. Okay, we will get a straight line. So the next graph, if you observe the dotted line, which is called a shaft torque, already we know that the torque which is available at the shaft, which is used for doing useful work, which is equal to Ta minus TL. If you observe the equation 2, Ta minus TL, the gross torque minus the TL, you will get the shaft torque. Therefore, here if you observe, when at no load, this is a theoretical equation what we have drawn. At no load, when the load is 0, Ia is 0. From the equation 3, Ia is 0. Therefore, it is starting at origin and it is going like this linearly. But practically, when the load is 0, the armature will draw some amount of current, that is called as Ia naught, in order to maintain the losses. That is the friction, windage and iron losses. The armature will draw some amount of current, that is Ia naught, and some amount of torque actually it is lost due to the losses. Therefore, the torque at no load is Ta naught, you can observe practically. Therefore, the shaft torque, it does not start from origin, it starts at Ia naught. It starts at Ia naught. Ia naught is the amount of current which is drawn by the armature. Ta naught is the amount of torque at no load in order to maintain the losses, that is the stray losses, friction, windage and iron losses. Some amount of torque is required. Therefore, as the load varies, as the load increases, so here if you observe, TL remains constant, as the load increases, Ia increases, Ta increases, as Ta increases from the equation 2, the TSH increases, I will repeat, as the load on the motor is increased, the current drawn increases by the armature. As Ia increases, the Ta is directly proportional to Ia increases. I will come to the equation 2. As Ta increases, this is constant. As Ta increases, the TSH increases linearly. Here you can observe, I will get this graph. Always there is a difference of lost torque. This is constant. TL is constant. The torque which is lost due to the losses. So, if you observe the characteristics, the torque is varying linearly. Whatever the torque, which is a shaft torque or armature torque, if you consider, it is varying linearly or increasing linearly with respect to load, with respect to armature current, and lost torque, it remains constant irrespective of the load. It does not depend on the load. Okay, so here it is clear that a very large current is required to start at heavy load. Hence, the DC shunt motor should never be started at heavy load, because it draws a very high current at starting at heavy load. Okay, so this is regarding the torque, armature current characteristics of DC shunt motor. So based on these ideas, let us move to the speed current characteristics of DC shunt motor. So here in the previous slide we have seen, we need a relation, mathematical equation representing the terms for the discussion. Here also we have to search for a mathematical expression between speed and current. Here also it is called as speed current or speed load characteristics. It is also called as electrical characteristics. It will come under the electrical characteristics because the electrical parameter is present. Electrical parameters are present. So here let us observe the graph. of speed current characteristics. The speed actually it is represented by RPM. So here if you observe the speed current, the speed is represented in y-axis, current armature current in x-axis. The graph between these two is the speed current characteristics. So if you observe the N naught, as already known, naught represents at no load. At no load, what is the speed? It is represented by N naught. And if you observe the circuit diagram, all the parameters we know already, we have discussed. The speed is nothing but the speed of rotation of the armature. Here is you have to consider the speed of whenever torque is produced. Already we have seen from the working principle, whenever the torque is produced, the armature rotates and runs at some particular speed. That is the speed of DC shunt motor. At no load, it is N naught. It is N naught. So here, if you search for a relation between a speed of the armature and the armature current, we will not get directly. So we need to establish a relation. For that, we have to consider the back EMF equation. We know that the back EMF or the EMF which is induced in the armature is equal to phi Z NP by 60A. We have derived in the previous classes. So if you observe the back EMF or the EMF which is induced in the armature, it depends on these parameters, that is phi Z NP divided by 60A. Okay, and also we know that the back EMF is given by V minus IA RA minus armature reaction drop minus brush contact drop. The second equation we got by applying KVL. If you apply KVL for the outer loop, for this particular outer loop, if you apply KVL, then you will get this particular equation, that is EB is equal to V minus IA RA minus armature reaction drop minus brush contact drop. Okay. So from these two equations, if you observe, I will get the equation 3, that is speed is directly proportional to V minus IARA. Speed is directly proportional to V minus IARA. All the other parameters in the equations will be constant. If you observe the equation 1, the speed we have to consider, that is the parameter for the discussion. Z, phi, P, A, all are constants, so we have neglected from this equation 1. So therefore EB is directly proportional to N, I can consider. So here the armature reaction drop and brush contact drop are very small, which will not vary with respect to load, therefore we have taken as constant. And here I can consider EB is directly proportional to V minus IARA. From equation 1, what I can tell, EB is directly proportional to N. From equation 2, I can write EB is directly proportional to V minus IARA. From comparing these two, equation 1 and equation 2, what I can tell, N is directly proportional to V minus IARA. V minus IARA. So here if you observe, now I got a relationship between the speed of rotation of armature and the armature current. Now you can analyze the characteristics. Now we can analyze the characteristics. Now as the load on the motor increases, what will happen? As the load on the motor increases, if you observe the equation, IA, the current which is drawn by the armature, increases. As IA increases, IARA increases. As IARA increases, the V, which is a constant, that is a supply voltage which is kept constant, the RHS of the equation, the result of the RHS of the equation starts decreasing. Therefore, the speed of a DC motor decreases. The speed of a DC motor decreases. I will repeat. As the load on the motor increases, IA increases. As IA increases, IARA increases. As IARA increases, V is constant. Therefore, the RHS, the result of the RHS equation decreases. As RHS decreases, which is directly proportional to speed, the speed of the motor starts decreasing with increase in load. So here if you observe the graph, As load on the motor is increased, IA starts increases. IA increases. As IA increases, you can observe the speed at no load. It was running at maximum speed, that is N naught. As the load on the motor is increased, the speed gradually it starts decreasing. The speed gradually it start decreasing. But if you observe the change in speed, it is very less. It is very less. So it is called as constant speed DC shunt motor. The change in speed is very less. Why? Because of this drop is very small. This drop is very small. From no load to full load, the value of armature resistance, anyhow it is 0 to 2 ohms, it is constant. It is very small value of resistance, and the change in current from no load to full load, IA, is very small. Hence, the change in speed, that is this gap I am talking about, this gap from no load to full load, that gap is very small, That is, if no load speed, if I consider as 1000 RPM, then at full load speed, what is the change in speed? I can consider around 975 RPM. Only 1 or 2% change in speed will be there. Generally. Therefore, you can consider this motor as a constant speed motor. Okay. So here, if you observe the graph, the speed regulation or the change in speed, actually it is very less because of IRA drop is very less. Therefore, we can consider this DC shunt motor by observing these characteristics as a constant speed motor. So let us move to the next characteristics, that is the speed torque characteristics, or it is called as mechanical characteristics. So here in the previous two characteristics, if you observe, a current was there, the current, which is an electrical parameter, so we were calling as electrical characteristics. But if you observe now, speed torque characteristics both are mechanical parameters. The torque is nothing but a mechanical motion is there. The speed, there is a mechanical motion is there. Mechanical parameters are present. Therefore, we can consider the speed torque characteristics as a mechanical characteristics. Again, we need to establish, in order to discuss this characteristics, we need a relationship between a speed and torque. Again, we have to establish a relation. The same equations you can consider, or the comparison of previous characteristics you can obtain. So if you observe equation 1, as we know that EB is equal to 5Z NP by 60A, no problem with that. Again, EB is equal to V minus IRA minus ARD minus BCD, we know that. Again, we got the equation 3, speed is directly proportional to V minus IRA. Again, from the characteristics first characteristic, that is torque is directly proportional to IA, we know that from first characteristics. Therefore, directly this IA is replaced by TA mathematically for the analysis. Just for mathematical analysis, directly what I can tell, equation 4 I can write, the speed is directly proportional to V minus TARA. If you observe this characteristics and previous characteristics, both are same equations, both are same. How you will get the graph? Again, as the load on the motor increases, the IA increases. As IA increases, IA is directly proportional to TA. Therefore, TA increases, TARA increases. The resultant of the RHS equation decreases. As RHS of the equation decreases, the speed of the motor decreases. So the equation, if you observe, the equation 3 and equation 4 are same. Equation 3 and equation 4 are same. So at no load, what is the speed of the motor? It is n naught. At n naught, that is, it is running at maximum speed. As the motor is loaded gradually, the armature current increases. As the armature current increases, the armature current is directly proportional to torque. The armature torque increases. As torque increases, the speed of the motor gradually decreases. Here also the change in speed is very small because of drop. IaRa drop is very small. IaRa drop is very small. RA is constant, very low value of armature resistance from 0 to 2 ohm approximately, and the armature current drawn, a change in armature current from no load to full load, it is also very small. Therefore, the change in the IaRa drop, the armature resistance drop is very small. Therefore, the change in speed is very small. Okay. So this is regarding the speed torque characteristics of DC shunt motor. So we have discussed the three characteristics. The first one is torque current characteristics. By observing the torque current characteristics, we can tell that at starting, if the motor is subjected to heavy loads, it draws very high value of current. Hence, it should not be started at very high load. So by observing the speed current characteristics, we can tell that the change in speed is very less, the speed regulation is good, therefore it is called as constant speed motor. And next one is speed torque characteristics. Here also, if you observe, the change in speed with respect to torque is very small, which has got medium starting torque or least starting torque. Okay, so based on this, if you observe the medium starting torque and constant speed, if you observe these two parameters, which has got applications like this, it is used in lathes, drilling machines, boring mills, shapers, the spinning machines, the weaving machines, centrifugal pumps, the fans, reciprocating pumps, and drilling machines. Like this, we can analyze the applications. Where the DC shunt motor is used, here we have listed some of the applications. In these applications, the DC shunt motor is used, where constant speed requirement is required and medium starting torque or less starting torque is required. So based on these ideas, let us discuss some of the multiple choice questions. The first one, in a DC shunt motor, the speed is related to armature current as the speed is related to armature current. How it is related to armature current? The speed. So we have to go for speed current characteristics. How the speed is related to armature current? We have to observe this equation. Speed is directly proportional to V minus IRA. Speed is directly proportional to V minus IRA. So here what is telling, directly proportional to IA, directly proportional to IA square, independent of IA, and inversely proportional to armature current. So if you observe the characteristics of speed current, as the armature current increases, the speed is decreasing. Therefore, what we can tell, the speed is decreasing is inversely proportional to armature current. We can tell it is inversely proportional. Directly proportional means it increases. But in the graph, if you observe, as the armature current increases, the speed of the motor is decreasing. Decreasing means is inversely proportional. Therefore, we can go for option D. The second question, in a DC shunt motor for zero armature current, we get speed as, in DC shunt motor for zero armature current, What is the speed? What is the speed? What is the speed? At zero armature current, when the current is zero, again we have to go for the graph. At zero current, Ia is zero. What is the speed? It is maximum. If you observe N naught, it is running at maximum speed, that is no load speed. So here what we can tell, the speed is maximum. The speed is maximum. We can go for option C. It is non-zero. Yes, it is not a zero, and it is maximum. It is maximum. So we can go for option C. We can go for option C. The third question. The armature torque of DC shunt motor is proportional to, the armature torque TA is proportional to Ia, as we have seen from the equation, first characteristics equation 3. You can observe the armature torque is directly proportional to armature current. Therefore what we can tell, the armature torque is directly proportional to armature current only, because the field flux is constant. Yes or no? The field current is also constant, that is ISH. Therefore what we can tell, we can go for the armature torque is directly proportional to armature current. The speed torque characteristics of DC shunt motor is, speed torque characteristics starts from origin, starts from speed axis and increasing, starts from speed axis and decreasing, starts from speed axis and constant. So go for speed torque characteristics. Speed torque characteristic starts from origin. No, it starts from speed axis and it decreases. You can observe, starts from speed axis and it decreases. So what we can tell, the speed characteristics, speed torque characteristics of DC shunt motor, it starts from speed axis and decreasing, that is option C. That is option C. Starts from speed axis, that is N naught, and gradually it decreases as we increase the load. Then the fifth question, the speed of DC shunt motor is directly proportional to, the speed of DC shunt motor is directly proportional to. So if you observe, the speed is directly proportional to flux or back EMF or terminal voltage or armature resistance drop. Anyhow it is constant, the flux is constant, the terminal voltage is constant, the armature resistance drop, it is very less from no load to full load. What we can tell, the speed is directly proportional to back EMF. If you observe the equation, here you can observe the equation EB, the speed, here you can observe EB is equal to 5ZNP divided by 60A. The speed of a motor is directly proportional to back EMF because all the other parameters 5, Z, P, CA, 60 are constants. So if for this particular question, the fifth question, the speed of a DC shunt motor is directly proportional to back EMF. From the equation EB is equal to 5ZNP by 60A, I can tell the other parameters flux, terminal voltage and armature resistance drop are constants. What will be the effect of opening a field of a DC shunt motor while motor is running? What will be the effect of opening a field? When the motor is running, if you remove the supply to the field, that means the field magnets or the field poles, if the supply is removed, what will happen? Then the flux will become zero. If the flux will become zero, what will happen? The speed of the motor will be reduced, or the armature current will reduce, or motor will attain dangerously high speed, or the motor will continue with constant speed. So here the option C, the motor will dangerously attain high speed. The motor will dangerously attain high speed because from the particular equation EB is equal to 5ZNB by 60A, if you observe, let us consider EB is this equation EB is equal to 5ZNP by 60A. We have to consider the flux and N because this is a topic for discussion, flux. So all the other parameters if you neglect, the speed is directly proportional to EB and inversely proportional to flux. I can consider speed, the other parameters will become constants for this particular question. Flux is inversely proportional to speed, the phi will come to the denominator. The speed is inversely proportional to flux and directly proportional to back EMF. Therefore, when flux will become zero, what will happen? When flux will become zero, the speed will become infinite. The speed will become infinite mathematically. Therefore, what I can tell, the motor will attain dangerously high speed, because the speed of the motor is directly proportional to back EMF and inversely proportional to flux. When the field is open, the flux will become zero. When the flux will become zero, then automatically the speed of the motor will attain dangerously high speed. It will become infinite speed. It will run at infinite speed. The seventh question. The shaft torque in a motor is less than the total armature torque because of the shaft torque is nothing but torque which is available at the shaft. The armature torque is nothing but the gross torque. Always there is a difference of lost torque. The lost torque is due to iron and friction losses. Already we have discussed that, the iron and friction losses. This is a constant losses which will not vary with respect to load. Because of these losses, always there will be a difference between some torque, that is the lost torque. Therefore, we can go for option C. Then the next question is, the amount of back EMF of a shunt motor will increase when the field is strengthened, when the field is weakened, none of the above, or the load is increased. Here the amount of back EMF, that is the EMF which is induced in the armature, increase when the field is weakened. We can go for option C. Dash motor has the best speed regulation. Already we have seen from the speed current characteristics and also from speed torque characteristics, the DC shunt motor has got a best speed regulation. That means which is suited for the constant speed applications. Therefore, DC shunt motor is suited for constant speed application, best speed regulation. The deciding factor in the selection of DC motor for a particular application is its dash characteristics. We have discussed three characteristics, that is torque current, speed current and speed torque characteristics. So here, for identifying the applications of DC shunt motor, the speed torque characteristics we have to consider, because as we know that the electrical has to be converted into mechanical energy. The mechanical force, the mechanical parameters are the important in case of applications. Therefore, we can consider the mechanical characteristics, that is a speed torque characteristics for identifying the application. We can go for option A. DC shunt motors are used in those applications where we can go for practically constant speed is required. Already we have seen constant speed applications. We can go for DC shunt motor. So here you can go for option B. So for the same rating, dash motor has the least starting torque. Already from the torque armature current characteristics we have seen, which has got the DC shunt motor has got least starting torque or the medium or less starting torque. Therefore, DC shunt motor has least starting torque, we can consider. Okay. So finally, in this particular session, we have discussed the three characteristics, that is the torque armature current, the speed armature current, and the speed torque characteristics of DC shunt motor. Thank you.